Enjoy this short from Sarah, Aaron, Rachel, and Bree in the Lutheran Ladies Lounge.
So, speaking of books we read together, let's talk about our next book we read together, shall we?
Yay! I love this part.
Okay, so I was thinking I wanted to do something new and different, and then I thought, no, I don't. I don't want to do something new and different. I was looking back over the list of books that we've chosen from over the last year and a little bit here, and I realized that I'm still a little bitter. Speaking about festering secrets, still a little bitter about some of the books that we chose not to read.
Hear it, girl.
Okay.
So we're going to call this book club pick Rachel's Regrets.
I love it. Love it.
Yes.
And even though I wanted to grab every single book out of our long lists from the past and shove them all in front of your faces again, I do have some restraints. So I went through and I picked the 4 books that I most regret not having read the first time around. Now, that's not to say I regret reading any of the books we did read, because they've all been fantastic. But these are some runners-up that I wanted to give a second chance to read. And there's a mix of genres here. We've got 1 adult novel, 1 YA novel, 1 memoir, and 1 nonfiction.
Oh, boy.
Okay? So this is a total grab bag here, but these are all books that I think deserve another shot in the book club. So the first one is, and this one will probably, fair warning, keep showing up again and again until we finally read it together. Because see, I have a little love and admiration for one Mr. C.S. Lewis.
More like an agenda. I'm just kidding.
Fun fact, I wrote my master's thesis on the Chronicles of Narnia. So
Did you really?
I did.
That is amazing.
You can write your master's thesis on anything you want, pretty much. As long as you can get it approved by your panel. But this one is not a Narnia book. This is one of the novels for adults he wrote called Till We Have Faces, a Myth Retold. And in this book, he brilliantly reimagines the story of Cupid and Psyche from Greek mythology. So this is a sister book told from the viewpoint of Psyche's sister Aureole. It's an examination of envy, betrayal, loss, blame, grief, guilt, and conversion. Sort of a Jacob Have I Loved thing going on here, where you've got the older, uglier sister. But in this case, there's genuine love and affection. I haven't read this book in years and years, and I feel like the one time I did read it, I didn't get everything out of it that I wanted to. That I think I'd be much better able to enjoy it now that I'm older and wiser. And so I would welcome the opportunity to reread this with Lutheran Ladies. Okay, so that's option 1, Till We Have Faces, C.S. Lewis.
Oh, boy.
Option 2 is one that is going to be very relevant to me in a couple of weeks, because my children have decided for me that I will be giving up caffeine for Lent.
Oh, no.
Which is a thing I have not done in close to 20 years.
Oh, no.
Yikes. So I'm a little nervous. But you know, when someone says to you, you should give up such and so for Lent, and your first thought is, oh no, not that, anything but that. Maybe that thing is too important in your life, and you should actually take the suggestion seriously. So, with that prologue in place, this book that I'm suggesting is called Caffeinated: How Our Daily Habit Helps, Hurts, and Hooks Us. It's by Murray Carpenter. It's a nonfiction read. And
I don't know if I can handle that, or I'm going to love it. I don't know.
Well,
as I drink my coffee.
if you've ever wondered whether coffee is healthy for you, whether the health benefits outweigh the...
No.
Sarah's like, nope, never once.
Spoilers. He never comes out and says, don't drink coffee, it's bad for you.
Okay, good. I can read it then.
He tells you about it. It's really fascinating. I have read this one, not in a couple of years. That it's fascinating look at the history, the culture, the medicine. I mean, it's a multi-angled view on caffeine and its place in our world, looking again at both history and science and anthropology, and it's great. It's a little bit longer than some of the books we've read, but not that. I don't think it's too long, and it's so worth it because this book is guaranteed to make you a know-it-all at coffee hour.
Ooh.
You'd be like,
Yes.
did you know that blah, 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 blah.
I love
And
those
everyone
books.
go, ooh, I did not know that. Okay, so that's number 2. Number 1, Till We Have Faces. Number 2, Caffeinated. Number 3, here's our YA novel. This one is by Laura Amy Schlitz. It's called The Hired Girl. It is by a Newbery medalist. The author has won a Newbery, but this one did not. It did win the Scott Odell Award for historical fiction, which is also very prestigious. And this is about a 14-year-old country girl. This is around the turn of the century, around 1911. She gets tired of living at home with her abusive father and brothers and runs away to the city, lies about her age, and gets a job as a domestic servant with a Jewish family. And she's a Catholic, but she's working in a Jewish family. And it's just a really interesting novel about encounter, about empathy, about learning who you are and respecting who other people are. A lot of questions and discussions, some of them not particularly comfortable, but you really get to know and appreciate the experience of this very well-developed character. Joan is her name. And then finally, this is the only book on the list that I haven't read yet, so I hope if we choose it, it doesn't turn out to be awful, but it looks really good. This was one of our reader-suggested memoirs back last summer. You remember those?
Yeah.
That was so much fun. All of
fun.
the Lutheran ladies threw their suggestions for memoirs in a pot, and we chose a few and selected one. We ended up doing Edie Wadsworth's book, and that was fantastic.
Yes.
But this was on the short list for that pick. And I always was curious, and I may have to just buy it and read it, whether or not we read it together. It's Kate Bowler's memoir, Everything Happens for a Reason and Other Lies I've Loved, about what happens when you think your life is perfect and that this is a sign that God is blessing you and that you're on the right track, and then suddenly you find out you have cancer. And does that mean that God's not blessing you and that you're not on the right track?
Yeah.
And it really sort of takes apart the idol of the prosperity gospel through one woman's experience, sort of having this crisis of faith precipitated by a personal tragedy in her own body. And I think that this book is one, again, I haven't read it, so hopefully it's not awful, but it's one that after a year of pandemic, where a lot of people have lost a lot of stuff and a lot of loved ones close to them have encountered health challenges that may have shaken their faith as well as their physical well-being, that a book like this that says, hey, just so you're aware, suffering doesn't mean God doesn't love you, is a helpful reminder in this time that God uses suffering. So those are our 4 choices. Till We Have Faces, Caffeinated, The Hired Girl, and Everything Happens for a Reason and Other Lies I've Loved. So I throw this out to you. Which of Rachel's regrets are we going to go back, revisit, and give the full book club treatment to?
This is so hard.
Are we going to redo?
I'm going with C.S. Lewis.
Same.
Oh, wow. Wow. I mean, that would be fine. I have read that book before, and like Rachel, I would be interested to see what my take on it was at this point.
You don't want a 12 Angry Men this?
No.
We can have an entire episode, sequel to this episode where we just argue about books for an hour. I mean, people would love that content.
Because like The Hired Girl, that's fun, but we have just done a YA, a YA book, so having a little variety there is appealing. The Everything Happens for a Reason and Other Lies book also sounds really interesting. So that would be my other choice. But yeah, I would be happy to read Till We Have Faces and see what I get out of it this time.
And then it won't show up again on another list.
That's true. That's I did sort of hold a gun to all of your heads and be like,
I've been meaning to read more C.S. Lewis, so that's partially
okay.
My own personal
fair warning, and
want.
It's been years since I've read this. If you're looking for Narnia, this ain't it.
No.
If you're looking for the space trilogy, this ain't it.
I haven't read that.
Oh, you should. It's so good.
I know. I've been meaning to read more C.S. Lewis.
Putting it on a future list. If you're looking for Pilgrim's Regress, and if you are, kudos to you, because that is a weird book. This ain't it either. This is its own thing. He sort of went out on a limb with something entirely different for him, and apparently people call it his most mature novel.
Oh.
So whatever that means.
Uh-oh.
I can't wait to read it with all of you. I think this one is going to be a blast.
So if you listen to this book, which I did the first time, and I will probably do again since I already own it, I recall that it took me a little bit to get into it. So stick with it. If at the beginning you're like, where is this going? Stick into it. The story will kick into gear, and you will the characters will start clicking, and so stick with it. That was just my own experience with it. I remember finishing it and liking it. I believe I tried reading it previously and abandoned it. And then I went back and tried it again, and it worked. So stick with it and finish it before the book club discussion.
Because there will be plenty to engage with in this book, as if I'm remembering it correctly. And I just can't wait.
I think it will be a
so
good
excited.
discussion.
Oh, thank you guys. It's always so much fun.
So our next book is Till We Have Faces by C.S. Lewis. It is available in actual book form or Kindle or audiobook, however you'd like to read it. And we are looking forward to our discussion on that. As always, you can find our Lutheran Ladies Lounge book club in our Facebook group. It will be available as an event. In April, we will have the discussion questions there, and it's super easy to join. I think we've actually finally found a way to do book club that actually works for most people. It'll be an event. All you have to do is RSVP yes that you're going, and then you'll get access to all of those questions as we do the book club, and then you'll get to listen to our next wrap-up episode, which is going to be great. You can join our group on Facebook to find all of our other discussion and our podcast episodes and a ginormous community of Lutheran women. You can find all of our podcasts at kfuo.org/Lutheran Ladies Lounge or on your favorite podcasting app. You're listening to the Lutheran Ladies Lounge podcast. I'm Sarah.
I'm Erin.
I'm Turtle Wexler's kicking foot.
And I'm Turtle Wexler's braid.